Aloha, welcome back to Ina Bear Farm. I wanted to do a video today specifically focused on the abundance of biomass in the food forest, as we also get entertained by Ash chasing lizards around the bananas. So this is right behind my house. So it's kind of a zone 1/2 semi-agroforestry type system where I've got different varieties of mangoes. So like here's a mango. These are dwarf Namwa bananas. Let's see them back there. And then mango bananas. And it just goes all the way down. And there's about 15 different mango plants. I think 4 different varieties, but all dwarf Namwa. And here you can see a pile of where I'm thinning out some of the Namwa, because for a couple reasons. One is that if they're happy, they grow in really dense thickets like this, where there's, gosh, I don't even know how many plants, 12 maybe. And this came from one keiki or one pup originally. And in this spot, it's fertile enough that they can hang 2 or 3 good-sized racks of bananas at once. So you need to thin them out if you want them to keep producing fruit, which I do from this section. I have other sections which are just for mulch, but I do like to get fruit off of these because of the structure of the system. It's really easy to pick them. I can literally look out the back window of my house and see them there, right? So it's just kind of easy to manage. But they also provide a ton of biomass, and so we're in the process right now of thinning some of these out, which we're then going to use as mulch. You can see the giant pseudo stem of the banana there. I really like these dwarf Namwa. It's like a big trunk compared to my hand. They are just prolific producers of shoots as well as fruit, and I really like the fruit. I think it's a really ubiquitous banana that you can use in a lot of different things. This system is jam-packed with all kinds of things. Here right next to this mango is a moringa tree, which, as you can tell by the size of the trunk here, I mean, that's a good size. It's a taprooted plant, and so putting it really close to other trees is not that big of a deal in terms of root competition. It's a really fast-growing, soft-tissued tree, and so you do have to be a little careful that it doesn't break and snap and drop limbs on your tree, which we just had a big storm, and so I'm thinning it out today because I should have done it ahead of time. There's cassava in here, which is obviously food source as well as more biomass. We've got pumpkins in here. They're kind of like a kabocha style hard shell pumpkin. Those are kind of winding their way through. There's like pumpkin leaves going up the moringa tree. And in the back, there's a row of tithonia that is also good chop and drop. So you can kind of see on the ground, like we've been chopping and dropping a variety of materials for a while now. We've got a nice covering, even some big chunks of wood from some old trees that were back here. But we're getting ready to spread some more of these out. I'm going to show you a section where we've done the bananas a while ago. I want to show you just the soil quality underneath. We'll be right back with that, but I just wanted to give you a really good idea of just like the insane amount of biomass that you can get in these systems. It becomes kind of like a self-fertilizing, self-mulching system. Just a little bit of work on your part. Okay, so right here, we're in the deep shade of a little patch of Gliricidia trees, Madre de Cacao, some green cooking bananas, more Madre de Cacao on this side. And so there's a lot of shade in this area. This stand of cooking bananas, we don't eat a lot of those right now. I'd like to kind of try to introduce more of that into my own diet and I figure out better ways to cook it. There's a little coffee in the understory. But what I really wanted to show you was an old spot where I had put down banana trunks. So we split them in half, lay them water side, open side down. And starting here is a little avapuhi shampoo ginger. And from there, it just completely covers the ground and smothered what was otherwise a little bit of a weedy spot. Even though it was the shade, it still kind of required some maintenance, and I just wanted to smother everything that was there and also create soil conditions where I could go back soon and plant something, obviously shade tolerant. So I'm going to peel some of this back and just show you, like, I mean, that is just amazing. This has been here for probably a couple of months, and there's just so much moisture down in there. We'll often find like earthworms, a lot of the little roly-poly pill bugs in there, just breaking the material down even further. And so, I mean, you could peel it back a little bit like this and just plant right in between there. Maybe we wanted to do some more avapuhi, we could just dot it through here, and it would already have mulch. It wouldn't have weed competition. It would have all that water that's just been stored in this wet material there until it fully breaks down. So bananas are an incredible chop and drop biomass abundance that you've got to have in a tropical food forest or subtropical system. Here I've made a pile of compost that started out as probably like a 6 foot tall by 6 foot wide circular enclosed space where I was piling up guinea grass, I was piling up lawn cut grass, rabbit manure, food scraps, just all kinds of things from all over the farm. And I really like to do this in the food forest because then we kind of reap the benefits of having whatever nutrients are leaching into the soil. It's going in a place where our trees are benefiting from it. And so on this side, it's a Annona salzmani, a beach sugar apple. And right at the kind of foot of where those feeder roots are going to start coming out, this pile originally was here, and I just kind of flip it back and forth until it's close to being done, which is looking pretty close to being done. And then on this side, there's another Annona, a soursop. And so same idea. The feeder roots are going to come out in here if they're not already there and just soak up some of that extra nutrient. The water will wash it towards those trees, and then eventually I can also come back here and plant straight into that. And if I kind of just roam back a little bit to a different section, I can show you where I did exactly that. So right here, we did the exact same thing. We had a big pile of compost, we flipped it back and forth here. If I look really close, you can still see like little bits of eggshell in the soil. You can see the darker material that came from the compost. It's that nice rich nitrogen heavy material. And so we've got the perennial peanut in here, which we planted recently, and it's spread so fast when it's in fertile soil like that. But we've also planted some annuals in this spot. Anywhere where I have sun, at least temporarily, that's okra. I've got some more of that kabocha type pumpkin here, but also right next to a breadfruit or ulu tree on one side, another banana on that side. And so it just benefits from all that material that's piling up. Instead of putting it in like your quote compost area and then moving it everywhere, I just like to go ahead and put it, out here where everything's going to benefit. And also it ends up killing off, because this was just guinea grass, so it killed off all that guinea grass and gave me kind of like a blank slate for planting into. And now I'm growing a lot of stuff that I'm excited about there instead of just the invasive guinea grass. And as we head back this way, I'm going to show you in a couple of spots where I've got gigantic, really overgrown support trees. This is an ice cream bean. I have let it get really big, which means that this Meyer grafted lemon tree is in the shade a lot of the day. It's not ideal, and if I had the equipment to safely bring some of those upper branches down without dropping them on the lemon tree and other plants that I've got in the understory. Probably would have done it already. But as you can see from the cuttings, I am slowly making my way through there. And again, generating a lot more biomass. This type of stuff, typically I let the leaves drop and then put the woody material through the wood chipper and make wood chip piles in addition to our compost. And usually I'll put the compost down and then cover it in those wood chip piles. Here, kind of a similar thing. You're looking at Gliricidia that has been pruned, managed, Madre de Cacao. So here we've got mangosteen, which I love to plant under the Gliricidia. Seems to do really well. But what you might notice is right here, there was a big branch that was heading out like that, right over the mangosteen. So not only was it maybe making a little too much shade for this stage where the mangosteen is starting to like emerge a little bit more into the sun, but it was also becoming a hazard, like I talked about earlier, for a storm. Storm comes through, wind blows, falls right on the mangosteen and crushes it. It's a softwood, fast-growing tree. A lot of fast-growing nitrogen-fixing species are soft, and they are hazards for dropping in storms. But I got to it first with my saw, so you can see a lot of that debris down here. And all that great leaf litter will fall. A lot of it actually already has. You can kind of see it. And then smother out weeds even more. And then open up some sunlight for plants like this Malabar chestnut, which is such a cool tree. Beautiful flowers, so fragrant, makes edible nuts. And it was really getting kind of encroached from all sides by those Gliricidia trees. So took it down, opened up the light, create some mulch. And then here, this is a grafted loquat that is getting encroached by Tithonia. And so shortly we will come through, take that Tithonia back down to stumps. It regrows so fast. We'll pile it up, let it dry a little bit, and then we'll chip that along with the Gliricidia and the ice cream bean. We'll open up some more light for that loquat there. Real quick, this is probably very familiar to a lot of you, but just worth mentioning. You can also see like a really nice Mamey sapote, hopefully ripening soon. You can see where I've kind of scratched at the skin a few times to check to see if it's ripe. Beautiful tree, by the way. I'll just kind of pan up and see that in all of its glory. Very nice. But at the base here, what I really wanted to show you was just throwing down some grass clippings. So these are standard lawn cut grass clippings. And I bag them from time to time. I don't always do it, but when I have a tree where the mulch is kind of getting a little bit thin around the base, and I just need something quick to cover the soil, lock in some moisture, help things break down. Like I've got some of this woodier stuff down here, but it won't break down that fast if it's exposed, but you cover it in something like that, it stays wet all the time, so it'll break down a lot faster and help feed the tree. The only thing about grass clippings is you just don't want to go too thick. And so this is a layer of like, I don't know, maybe an inch. And I find that's kind of about the sweet spot. You go too thick, it actually can heat up quite a bit and maybe not be so great for the roots of the tree as it's decomposing, but also it can create a smothering mat and not allow airflow up and down to the roots, and can even act as a water barrier where the water hits it. It's kind of makes like a hydrophobic layer where the water starts to sheen off of the top of the grass. So you don't want to go too thick, but another just great resource. If you're cutting the grass, like, you know, just add that second function and really utilize the grass. One note on that is you do want to not always bag your grass, like give some of the grass back. Kind of a general rule that I've seen is like for every 4 times you cut the yard, make sure you leave the cuttings at least once, and that will kind of help replenish some of the nitrogen in the soil and make it so that you're not just like burning your lawn out Another great resource, super easy. Okay, last thing I want to show you is I kind of coming back to the idea of these support trees. This is an ice cream bean, and this is another spot where I've let this tree get really big. 25 feet tall, nice spread canopy. And it just depends, you know, like what you're trying to do. Sometimes you want to keep these like really pruned like every year. You're topping them twice a year even maybe. Places where you need a lot more light and you're really just trying to generate that biomass, and that's really all you're after. But I have some spots where I actually wanted some shade, I wanted a little windbreak, and this is a spot that's become one of my favorite areas in the whole food forest because it feels so foresty. We've got this understory of native ferns that we're planting in here. There's some, you know, beautiful anthurium flowers that love the shade. The little jaboticaba seedling that loves being in the shade when it's young like that. And if I kind of pan back this way, I've got more coffee trees. There's a cacao around the corner because I've got a monkey pod tree up there with a huge spreading canopy as well. And these two trees, the canopies are meeting, and this is where you kind of have to make some decisions about light, because if they start overlapping, I mean, you're gonna get like dark shade, and even shade-loving plants might not thrive as well as you would like. So again, you always have to plan ahead. You just don't want to like be reacting and later on you're cutting things that are dangerous or that could damage other plants nearby. But the thing I really wanted to focus on here was, you know, this all started as that invasive guinea grass. When I came onto this property, that grass was 6-7 feet tall. It hadn't been mowed or eaten down by animals in a while. It was thick, almost like bamboo at the base, hard to cut, covered in stinging little spines. You know, just really kind of a pest plant in a lot of ways. It does have a nice, it does use, it has a use as a nice resource, what I'm trying to spit out, for mulch. But ultimately it's hard to maintain. I really wanted to get rid of it. You can like see like there's a little kind of legacy stand sitting right there. But you know, really don't want it because I don't want to manage it. Leaving a tree like this in and allowing the leaf drop year after year will kill off the guinea grass and other weeds and invasives like that that need sun. If I pan down here, I just want to show you, like, this is thick humus. It is black under there. There is some really nice leaf mold, some mycorrhizal fungi, all that good stuff that a healthy forest needs. So this soil now is totally converted. If I wanted to come back, cut this down, bring back full sun, and plant into it, I would have happy, healthy soil as a starting place, as opposed to that bacterially dominant soil that I started with the invasive guinea grass. Don't think I'm going to do that. I think these trees will stay here for quite a while. I really enjoy them, really love the shade. I utilize them as an area where I plant shade-loving trees nearby. But I just kind of want to show you like the fringe. This grass, this is right at the edge of the canopy, and it just does not thrive. It's really having a hard time coming back as you get kind of right outside the canopy where there's little sun pukas, little sun spots that are opened up there. You know, it just completely changes. The grass is all of a sudden much more robust, much more fast growing. But in this dense shade, it just can't compete. So we're coming around the corner on year 7 of our food forest. We'll do a nice year 7 tour of just kind of everything that's going on out here. But I really just wanted to have a video that's focused on the abundance of biomass. I've just been really enamored with this lately. We've had a really nice wet season, so it's been a jungle here. Everything is just really thick and happy and producing. I'm coming out here now and doing a lot of work. I mean, that's like 20-foot high Tithonia. It's not ideal, but it's a lot of work to come out here and take stuff like this down, process it. It's going to take me a while, but in the end, I'm going to end up with basically most of my fertilizer needs met. The stuff I grew right here, without the labor, basically free. So, hope that was interesting. Maybe you picked up a couple things. Maybe you were already a believer and it's just fun to watch, but we appreciate you watching as usual. Let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments section, and we'll see you next time for our 7-year tour video. In the meantime, aloha from Mighty Bear Farm.